ESPN for world-class action.
How much do you love this game?
For the two-time MVP magic.
Tim Washawinga, is this her moment? You better believe it!
For the passion of the ride or die.
Just absolutely crazy, crazy scene.
It's
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with their 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. UAH senior Katie Bracken would strike out 9 batters in a complete game shutout. Chargers offense would back her up as UAH opens up NCAA regional play with a 4-0 win over host West Florida. Chargers face West Alabama today at 1 p.m. College baseball, 18th-ranked Alabama would score 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning, hold off a late rally from 16th-ranked Ole Miss to grab a series-opening 5-4 win. Game 2 of that series tonight, 6 p.m. First pitch on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 5th-ranked Auburn held 4th-ranked Georgia's high-flying offense to just 2 runs, but the Bulldogs pitching just as good as they limit Auburn to just 4 hits. Georgia takes game 1 of that series 2-1. The Hartselle Tigers will play for a 6A state championship on the baseball diamond as they take 2 games from Hartselle in the 6A semifinals last night, 5-3, 8-4. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
Thom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby.
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my elbow.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Oh, yeah, baby. Football Friday. And that means football music all throughout the show. Even if we're not talking about football the whole time, it's still Football Friday. Include this little ditty from 1970. The original Monday Night Football. Now, look, you know, it may be Football Friday. It's the last weekend of SEC baseball. And we got the number 5 and number 4 team in the country playing this weekend. Georgia beating Auburn last night by a score of 2-1. We have got, you know, Alabama, number 14 team playing the Ole Miss, number 15 team in the country. Alabama winning that game by a score of 8-4. Vanderbilt and South Carolina are playing in Nashville, 9-1 Vandy there. Those are 2 teams that are going to miss the playoff or miss the tournament, it looks like. But the bottom line is that these things are going on. These are important games, especially for Alabama and Auburn. And again, I'll say this. I don't understand it. I'm going to keep saying it. AL.com is a website that is supposed to be giving us it's like the newspaper now. You know what I mean? It's the combination of all of the newspapers around the state of Alabama and everything else. And to go to AL.com and not see game stories from actual games that took place last night is mind-boggling to me. It really is. I need someone to explain to me how AL.com does not have the story of Alabama's win over Ole Miss or Georgia's win over Auburn or any of the other games that took place. I don't get it. Headlines: where do Alabama fans stand on Kalen DeBoer right now? Auburn basketball lands a commitment from a Lithuanian guard out of the transfer portal. What's the best SEC game each week during the 2026 football season? Former Alabama receiver coordinator together again with the Tennessee Titans. Who will lead the Tide in touchdowns? Oh, my gosh. How Patrick Murphy thinks the 2026 Alabama softball is similar to 2012 national championship team. Well, at least that tournament's getting started. How could Auburn football build connectivity between now and the season? How about the freaking game last night? How does Auburn beat Georgia? I mean, this is a newspaper. How do we not even... Jimmy Rain says he'll give Alex Golish every opportunity to be successful. Stephen Pearl provides an update on Auburn's basketball 2026 roster plan. What's going on here? NFL schedule, 10 games with Alabama storylines. I don't get it. What am I missing? Ed Orgeron adds his 2 cents to latest Lane Kiffin Ole Miss situation. Ed Orgeron! You're AL.com. Why don't you cover Alabama and Auburn's baseball games they played last night on the last weekend of baseball? I mean, is it? Am I nuts? Am I crazy? Is it out of line to think that they should cover a game?
Brilliant.
Yeah. I don't know. Just me. All right, rant's over. We do have some good football in the show today, as the NFL dropped its schedule last night. And for the second straight season, the Titans do not have a primetime game. Can you imagine if Scott Tyson, who does our local updates for the state, our flagship station in Alabama, can you imagine it? And I don't even know what they do at ESPN Winchester. You guys got any kind of a local sports update? They got the Rebel Report there, right? From the Franklin County Rebels. And Scott Tyson does the updates, the local updates for the Zone in Huntsville. Can you imagine if he went and did the headlines and all his stories were about whether or not the left tackle for Auburn, puts his right foot forward or his left foot forward? Who's going to lead the Tide in receiving? If that was his headline? I mean, how are we doing? Doesn't make sense. That's just me. All right, anyway, look, I'm not a reporter. I'm doing a show here. I'm doing a sports talk show. We're going to talk about the schedule. We're going to talk about some other things that are going on. But we are also going to tell you the scores of what's going on at the PGA Championship. And we're going to tell you what happened last night in the NHL playoffs. And we just told you what happened in the SEC baseball last night. In fact, we're going to give away a couple of tickets to SEC baseball game in the second hour of the show today. Anyway, none of that was on the rundown, by the way, for today. It was not on the rundown. What is on the rundown is the fact that for the second season in a row, the Tennessee Titans do not have a primetime game. They got like 15 nooners a couple of 3 o'clock games. Now, keep in mind that both the Sunday and Monday night schedules have flex options. So if a team is playing well, we're going to see them in a primetime game late in the season. But not any of these holiday games that the NFL is taking over feature the Titans. Remember, it used to be just the 2 games on Thanksgiving and then a college game at night. That was like the NFL is going to play on a Thursday, and they're going to play 2 games on Thanksgiving. And that started back in the 50s or 60s. Maybe the 60s it came to prominence. It was actually just 1 game at that time. It was always the Packers and the Lions. The Packers and the Lions played on Thanksgiving, and then you had dinner after that. Then the NFL took the Thanksgiving night spot, too. And the NBA had Christmas Day. You'd get like a quad header of NBA games on Christmas Day. But then the NFL decided to take, we'll take Christmas Day too. We're going to play there as well. We're going to throw a game on Christmas Day. And then it went from 1 game to a triple header. And in the past, the only Christmas Day games you ever got were if Christmas Day was on a Sunday. And there would be a Christmas Day game. They had a playoff game on Christmas Day, a famous game between the Chiefs and the Dolphins, which was at the time the longest game ever, an overtime game. But I digress. So they decided to start having a triple header on Christmas Day, and now they're completely crushing the NBA there. The NBA might as well not even play on Sunday. Forget about it. But then the NFL says, hey, what about Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve? Let's play on Thanksgiving Eve and Christmas Eve. Yeah, but Thanksgiving Eve is like a Wednesday. We don't care. We're going to play. We're going to open the season on a Wednesday. We've played every day of the week except for Tuesday. The NFL has glommed onto that as well. The only thing that's left now, to be honest with you, is New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I got to be honest with you. The NFL right now only plays on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day if it lands on a Sunday. But I'm going to tell you what, that's the next frontier. That's where the Tuesday game is going to come. You watch. New Year's Day will be on a Tuesday, and the NFL will play a game on a Tuesday. It's coming. It's going to happen. Now, the Titans aren't the only not ready for primetime team, just the only one not featured on back-to-back seasons. I mean, they're like barely in the NFL. And more on that in a minute. Coming up in the next segment, Teresa Walker from the AP in Tennessee will join us to break down the Titans schedule. At the top of the 11, Adam Spencer of Saturday Down South will join us as we talk about the potential playoff bracket that 91% of fans don't want to see. Apparently, only Greg Sankey and ESPN thinks like the rest of us, as the other P4 conferences, the Big 12, the Big 10, the ACC, and the AFCA and others are all lining up behind the idea of the 24-team playoff. And I now, upon pondering this with further research and so on, I now think 100%. I never liked it in the first place. In fact, I was always an 8-team guy. I never liked it in the first place. And now the more I think about it, the more I think it's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. The unintended consequences could be devastating. Devastating. More on that in a moment as well. I also, as I said, do have some tickets to give away in hour number 2 to an SEC baseball game tomorrow. It's going to be a glorious day. We'll tell you about that and how you can snag those tickets from me. Lines are open. Feel free to jump in and contribute at 256-576-4977. That number is good wherever and however you consume the show. We got a text window for you as well. We'll read and react to those on the air at 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. So if you want to hit that, our show is at a point in time where a lot of people are at work. I get that. So sometimes you can't make a phone call to the show, but your voice can be heard via the text window. Now, the other thing you can do, if you're at work or otherwise, go ahead and throw us on the YouTube, grab the video of the show at WZZN TV on YouTube or on Facebook. You find it there, or on the X, or you can find it at my X feed, which is at Thom Abraham Show. And I was feeling very patriotic today. So yes, that's That's a modified American flag, which hangs in the Big Dog Production studio behind me there. And I got to be honest, too. My two recreational passions, the two things that I do. I'm not really a hunter. I used to hunt years ago, but I don't hunt. I'm a fisherman, and I love to play golf. So golf and fishing are my two things. I don't do other stuff. I would like to play pickleball more than I do. Every time I play it, I do enjoy it. I throw the bocce ball around a little bit once in a while with my boys, when we're having a family event. But for me, I used to bowl. I wouldn't mind bowling again. I used to bowl. But for me, fishing and golf are those are my two activities. Those are my two recreational activities. And I've been able to make a living covering golf as part of the sports world and covering professional fishing as well with Bassmaster Radio. So I've been able to take my two passions and turn them into income, which is what I've always told my sons. That's the way to true work happiness. Find that thing that you absolutely love to do and figure out a way to get paid to do it. That's the key. If you're looking for the key, if you're looking for a little sage advice from your host of 65 years, I've been hosting for 65 years, but I've been on the planet 65 years. Find the thing that you love and then figure out how to get people to give you cash money for it. It's been the key for me. Anyway, everything else is just a job. I don't have a job. I get paid to talk about sports and watch this golf tournament over there, and I get paid to talk about fishing and watch this fishing tournament over here. So in any event, I don't even know how I went down that path. It's very random in the studio today. It's very random in here. It was also very cold in here this morning. It was like 46 degrees when I got in the studio this morning at 6:15. I'm like, well, what is 42 degrees? What are we doing? There's not enough degrees. It's warming up nicely. Look, what do NFL teams do at the end of a regular season? If they're a playoff team, they rest everyone, right? Even though the final week of the NFL season, look at the final week. It's always all divisional rivalry games. In case there's a division on the line, the NFL schedules all divisional games on the final week of the season. So say we get this 2014 bracket, and they've eliminated the conference championship games, which often feature great rivalries because the conferences are what it's really all about in college football. At the end of the day, college football's greatness was based on its regionalness. And the SEC is the only conference left that is still relatively regional. If you want to talk about Texas and Missouri being, southern and joining the rest of the SEC, it's still a regional footprint. It's the only conference in the land that has contiguous states connected. Texas is connected to Louisiana, is connected to Mississippi, is connected to Alabama, is connected to Georgia, is connected to Florida, connected to North and South Carolina. It's connected to Tennessee. It's connected to Kentucky. It's connected to Missouri. You feel me? It's all connected. None of the other conferences are that anymore. The Big Ten started this. Then the Big Ten goes from Los Angeles to Rutgers to New Jersey. From Los Angeles to New Jersey. What the heck is that? That's not a college football conference. The ACC goes from the Pacific Coast to the Atlantic Coast. What's that? That's insane. But that's where we're at now. Now we want to take away the conference championship game. Now what happens next? The player's going to sit out the Iron Bowl? Or the Ohio State-Michigan game? Or the Florida State game to get ready for the playoffs? We're resting our guys because we got a 5-game playoff now coming up. It's a half a season almost. And when do the players say, hey, I'm only paid for 13 games. I didn't, you know what I mean? I'm not getting paid for all these. In the NFL, they get, a bonus each playoff round. You win the Super Bowl, you get so much. I'm not paying paid for these extra games. I'm not playing these extra games. I'm not getting paid. That's going to come. Unintended consequences. I need more money. 3 more games. Or better yet, what's going to happen when the player says, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to play these 2 more games. I got an NFL draft to get ready for. I've been paid. I did my commercial for Milo's Sweet Tea. I need to get ready for the NFL. I'm done. What's going to happen? I mean, they really need to think this whole thing through. And Greg Sankey is the only one that's fighting for the tradition of college football. He's it. Greg Sankey. That's it. Say what you want about the SEC. Be a hater if you want. Say what you want about Greg Sankey. Be a hater if you want. He's the only one carrying the banner, and the fans don't want this. There have been 2 major polls that have been conducted regarding the size of the playoff, and only 9% in each poll, only 9% of the fans have responded saying that they want a 2014 playoff. So what that means is that 91% of us don't want it. Don't want it. And we don't have a voice. 91% don't want it. Don't want it. All right, so we got that on the table. We got these NFL schedules on the table. We got the wind blowing, and it's 50 degrees this morning in Philadelphia where the PGA Championship is going on. -3 seems to be the magic number there. We'll get you a scoreboard update as well. The playoff action in the NHL, we'll get to that. Just give you an update on that deal. And there was another big reveal yesterday, not only the schedule, but some other big reveal. I'll talk about that. But first, back in Mission Control, let me introduce the guy that's playing the platters of matter, the stacks of wax, that's answering the phones. Side by each with Hollywood Hogan, who's taking care of our video production. It's the Prodigy.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together on a spit and polish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
Give me back my son!
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Do you hear the grasshopper, which is at your feet?
Old man, how is it that you hear these things?
Young man, how is it that you do not?
As quickly as you can, snatch the pebble from my hand. When you can take the pebble from my hand, it will be time for you to leave.
Look, I'm not being an AL.com hater. I have always been a fan of AL.com. You know what I mean? I have always enjoyed AL.com. I used to have AL.com guys on all the time. You know, I love the work that they do covering high school sports.
Yeah.
And they give us the scores. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, on a Friday night, you get the scores. How is it possible? Unless I'm missing it, and then if I apologize 1,000%. If I'm missing it. But I love the work that, the Ben Thomases and, Thomas Ashcroft, all those guys, the work that they do. I love that aspect of it. But what am I missing to where I can go to the newspapers, these are Soundsville Times and Birmingham News and all that stuff, where I go to AL.com at 10 o'clock on a Friday morning, and I can't get even the score of the games last night that were played in SEC baseball.
Yeah. It's kind of rough. I mean, they're just kind of gripping at straws, hoping that the football season could come a little bit quicker. But, I mean, they're giving the people still, some information that might help them out. Obviously, though, you can find
football stories are great.
You can find the scores elsewhere. And you know what? That's the worst thing that you could say because people will go somewhere else.
Yeah, I know. I want to go to the SEC. Stories. I go to SEC.com to find the scores and stuff. But the point is that I'm not begrudging this other stories that they have in there. Those are all interesting, fascinating stories that people want to know and consume. I get it that, Stephen Pearl's update on Auburn basketball roster is something people are interested in and they're interested in, who's going to lead Alabama in touchdowns this season. And those are good stories.
Yeah.
But is it too much to ask for a blurb that says what happened in the Alabama Ole Miss game?
No,
it's AL.com. This is one-stop shopping for results And you could have both. I mean, I don't understand why you can't have both.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe if you looked hard enough, you could find that the brass band of Huntsville was at the Egg Beater Church last night.
Yeah,
and,
well,
that's where I was at. I actually got to listen to some nice classical music.
Where'd you go?
I went to the Egg Beater Church off of the medical district, and
the Egg Beater.
Yeah,
church?
it's where
Or is
Jesus,
it like a church, or is that not a real church?
No, it is a real church. It's where Jesus looks like he's like mixed with an egg beater. It's a weird little thing that's actually a thing here in Huntsville. But yeah, the brass band of Huntsville
Jesus
was
looks
there.
like an egg beater.
It's a thing. Don't question it too much.
I got to question it, man. You bring the big guy into it. I got to know what you're talking about.
Well, look it up. Look it up. Just type it in.
So who was there how did you even know about this thing?
Well, John, he said that his sponsor was going to be inside of it. Like, he was in the band. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll join you. John.
Wait, John was in the band?
No, John's sponsor was part of the band.
Oh, you're talking about First Baptist Church on Governors.
Yeah, Egg Beater.
It's an egg beater. Is that the Egg Beater Church? Is that what they call it?
I mean,
I have never heard that. I've lived in this area for 21 years, 22 years. I've never heard of it referred to that.
The Hoganator, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, I have. Well,
he doesn't even live in
a young
Huntsville.
people thing. It must be a young people thing. I have never. It's First Baptist Church. I never heard of that.
That was a great night, and you know what?
Does look like an egg beater.
There's probably see, that's what I'm saying. There's probably a
terrible.
story of it over on AL.com because I feel like they're doing everything but the scores. But you know what? It's Alabama.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fine if there is. I mean that's AL.com. Look, I go there. There's restaurant reviews and all of that kind of stuff. But I get I've what do you call that thing? Earmarked, or what do you call it when you bookmark? I bookmarked the AL.com sports page. I don't go to AL.com and read anything else. I just bookmark the sports page. So I don't go to the front page of it so much. Let's see if I go and click on Huntsville. Alabama's 10 fastest growing cities in 2025. Alabama megachurch leaders say conflict. Huntsville breaks ground on a new school with a capacity for 750 students. This is news. Check out the AHSAA soccer coaches Class A All-State 6A All-State team. Second airline has shut down permanently. Okay. Airlines are shutting down. But Walmart 65-inch Roku TV on sale. One of its lowest prices ever. On the sports front, we need We need scores. I mean, come on. All right, I got to get a break. When we come back, maybe I missed him. Maybe it's me. I don't think so. When we come back, Teresa Walker will join us. She's coming up next. First time ever on WZZN TV for T-Dub. She's next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement, it's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and this month at Lynn Layton Ford, we've got employee pricing for everyone. Plus 5.9 for up to 84 months with zero doc fees or no hidden markups. That's right, employee pricing plus 5.9 for up to 84 months, no doc fees or hidden markups. With your good credit, lease a 26 F-150 STX for $399 a month for 36 months with only $3,000 due at signing. Lease a 26 Explorer Active for $399 a month for 36 months, $3,000 due at signing. Or how about a new Bronco Big Ben 4x4? $485 a month for a 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. We've got employee pricing for everyone, plus 5.9 for 84, and no doc fees or hidden markups. Come see us at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford Country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com. All leases are with a zero security deposit, 10,500 miles a year. Offer ends 5/31/26. See us for the
Cummins has kept the world running for more than 100 years. Since their founding in 1919, Cummins has been dedicated to leading the charge towards a future with smarter, cleaner power. Cummins sales and service locations are right where you need them when you need your engine or generator set service. And now, Cummins has a new Huntsville branch opening June 10th. They're located on Highway 31 in Tanner, just north of Calhoun College. Cummins expert technicians will keep you up and running. Call them at 205-808-2210.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Really going to be a great Friday. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight. A little more cloud cover for your Saturday, but we are going to be quite warm. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Plenty of sunshine for your Sunday, much the same. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Lynn Layton Ford. That's right. My good friend Bobby White is now at Lynn Layton, and I'm right there with him. And you know what you'll never find at Lynn Layton Ford? Some mysterious dock fee that can be like $600, $700, or $800. The price you saw advertised is the price you'll pay. That's the Lynn Layton way. You see, transparency is important in buying these days, and that's what you get at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. I made the move, and so should you, to Lynn Layton Ford. And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. I don't know what's going on. My phone goes off. At the beginning of the commercial break, I click on it. I'm being FaceTimed, and all of my sons, except for Joe, all of my sons are on a FaceTime together from different places, and I can see everybody. See Tommy and Danny, and John was in there. He's working. He's in the studio. I'm in there. It's like amazing. I mean, the technology these days is just mind-boggling as to what you can do. And, I didn't realize that you could put a bunch of people together like that on a FaceTime thing, John. And that's fantastic. When you think about, how you don't get to see as much of your family as often as you want, to be able to do that, I think it's pretty cool, man.
Oh, yeah. And that's the special thing about technology. It can be a pain at times, but it's also connected us in so many ways. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And that means that we've also are able to, of course, the show's been on WZZN TV for a while now, and we have been asking more and more guests if they want to come on from a video standpoint. And Teresa Walker is one of the last ones, I think, that we have asked to come on a video standpoint. And she does come on. Of course, she is the bureau chief for the AP in Tennessee, covers the Tennessee Titans extensively. And she joins us now, not only on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, but on WZZN TV. T-Dub, welcome in. How are you?
I am good, and I'm happiest because we finally know when the games will be played this season in the NFL, and it's like, hallelujah. The delay, it just drives me a little nuts. Like the SEC said, at the end of this month, they're going to announce the game times for the first 3 weeks of the college football season for their teams, but it's like, I don't travel with the Titans, Tom, but the idea, I play my life. I also cover Vanderbilt, and I've got a lot of other things on my plate. So it's like, I'm just so glad I know when I can take a weekend off this fall.
Yeah, well, just plan on noon every day, every week. And it's pretty much it for the Titans. I mean, the flip side, first of all, we do have to say this. The NFL does have flex scheduling. So there's a possibility that even a Monday night game, they could get flexed into, if they're playing well late in the season, a Sunday night game can be moved from Sunday, at noon. But from a coaching standpoint, the coaches really don't care about all of that other stuff and the fans wanting to see primetime and Christmas Day and Thanksgiving and all this stuff. From a coaching standpoint, I promise you, the coaches love this full week between every game and every game at noon on Sunday and a rhythm, that you have in terms of preparation and everything else. So if there's any silver lining to the fact that the Titans, for the second year in a row, do not get a primetime game, it's that from a coaching standpoint, they probably love it.
Oh, are you kidding? And put a bye in week 9, the exact midpoint of the season. Tom, they start at home with back-to-back home games. It's the first time that's happened for this franchise since 2010. And then it's a nice rhythm. There's no more than 2 road games at a stretch. And it's, home, road, home, road, home, road. They've got 2 instances where they've got back-to-back road games. Other than that, it's a nice rhythm. And they absolutely love that. There's one kind of national window game. That's at the Jacksonville Jaguars on November 29th. That's a 3:05 start when, that's the time of day where there's usually like 4 games that are being played in that window. Might be even thinner. I haven't looked at the overall schedule, but, I think that's Thanksgiving week. So with all the games they've got on Wednesday night and then all the 3 games on Thanksgiving, there's a Black Friday game. I mean, you might actually see some Titans, if you're not in the Nashville market on November 29th. But that's exactly it. Nate Washington was pointing out no primetime games again, and I just simply responded to him last night. If they play well, if they start strong with this new coaching staff and all the money they've spent, all the talent they brought in, you will get flexed into a primetime game. And those are the best ones. Why? Because you're playing well and people want to see teams that are playing well. The NFL schedules by names and markets. That's why the Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles get so many primetime slots. It's why the Chiefs are all over the schedule in the premier games, because those are the teams that they know will deliver. So the Titans, every time they get up there and start looking like a national contender, they slide back down the mountain. So they're back to prove it or else.
Yeah, the 2 3:00 games are actually 3:05s, as you said. Now, the 3:25 is the national window, so it could be backed up to that, if they want to go to that. Otherwise, they're 3:05 games. Well, there's 2 of those, the one at Jacksonville and then the one Thanksgiving weekend. And then Christmas weekend, a couple days after Christmas, at the Raiders. And so, again, with there being a triple header on Christmas Day and now a Christmas Eve game as well, the schedule is going to thin out and thin out and thin out. So that Titans-Raiders game, who knows? Both of those teams, neither of those teams got a primetime game. That was a little surprising from the Raiders' standpoint because of, Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner and number 1 pick overall. You thought that they would give him a little bit of love, but I thought the same thing for Cam Ward last year, the number 1 pick overall last year. This is the second year in a row that the number 1 overall pick is not going to be featured in a early season Sunday night or Monday night game.
Well, part of the problem is, they used to throw those teams that were struggling and bad the year before onto the Thursday night slate, but Amazon isn't paying that money to get, the Color Rush Jaguars Titans, okay? So they want good games, and that's what they've got. Their slate for Thursday nights are filled with playoff teams from last year. Now, the problem with NFL and parity is we've seen how many times do playoff teams from last year simply, take a header. So that's where that flex option comes from. But you're right. I mean, and, let's be honest. Did anyone really want to see Cam Ward and the Titans on national TV last year? It was tough watching them in person, Tom. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And I was paid to go.
And you were paid to be there for sure. It's also a very friendly schedule in terms of the number of playoff teams that they play. It is a last place schedule, which they earned. But it also is a schedule that, from a travel standpoint, is very friendly as well. They don't have a ton of really tough travel in this outside of going to Vegas. That's pretty much it. So that's a good thing as well. There's a lot of things that are built into this. Fox has predicted them now at 6-11 now that they saw the schedule, which is just a couple of more wins. But that could easily be an 8 or a 9 win type season, which would set them up nicely going into the new building, the way this schedule plays out.
Oh, absolutely. And for all the people saying, oh, this team's bad, they're not going to win more than 3 games. I'm sorry, this is the NFL. And they spent the most money in free agency. They went out and got Carnell Tate to give Cam Ward more help on offense. This has been the offseason, you can tell the plan that the Titans have. They went out and hired not just Robert Saleh, but Brian Dable, Gus Bradley's on the staff. All the experience that they really lacked the last 2 years under Brian Callahan, that's been addressed. There are people across that coaching staff who this isn't their first time in those jobs. They've been there, they've done that. Got a feeling, Tom, that they probably know what constitutes a catch. If, say Carnell Tate lands with a ball and his elbow is the only thing that lands near the sideline, I have a feeling that this group is going to say, that's a catch, challenge it. Unlike last year in Denver in the opener, a tight game. The two games at home to start the season, to me, that's huge because that gives them a chance to try to build some momentum, get some things underneath them, and then they've got 3 of the first 5 are at home. And, for this is the unknown that we don't know. What does this group look like on the field? How do they come together? How quickly does this coaching staff get its imprint on this team? But I point back to last year. 3 teams that were last in 24 made the playoffs in 25. That is Pete Rozell's design of parity for the NFL. You're rewarded when you do it right. You're penalized when you screw up. And this franchise has been hammered for 4 straight years for stupid, dumb decisions from the front office to on the field. And so, we'll see how quickly they can pull it together. But to circle back around to the travel, think about it. Their farthest trip is Vegas. Now, they do start with a preseason game at San Francisco, and somebody was pointing that out last night on social, and it's like, that's a preseason game, okay? They get, after the preseason game against Chicago, which is in Nashville, then they get, they've got 2 weeks to rest up. And then they don't have to travel after San Francisco until they literally go to the New York Giants on September 27th. They'll have time to rest up.
It's an easy trip. Yeah, that's an easy trip, too. And, of course, the schedule, it was set up, obviously, for Robert Saleh to coach against the Jets in his first game. That was not a coincidence, I think, to have that. And then, of course, Game 3, their first road game is at the Giants, where Brian Daboll came from. So I think that those things are, were obvious as well. And let's give some kudos. Once again, the Titans, whoever handles their social media, they nailed it again. They do the best schedule release. The one they did last year was absolutely hilarious. That's the gold standard. This one, though, was really good, too, as they walked around downtown Huntsville and they found doppelgangers for people that were associated to the team that they were playing. And, they do a really good job with that social media aspect.
Well, I did the story for AP, and the fun thing is you get 32 teams dropping their social media schedule reveals, and I'm trying to go through them as fast as I can. Obviously couldn't hit all of them, but they did to me it was a throwback to like 23 when they stopped people. It was like 5th and Broad, and they asked them to identify upcoming opponents, and that one may be the gold standard for all the releases, but
Okay.
I'm sorry? Yeah, I think it was 2023 when they did the one with the roars and So, but the team, they did an incredible job. There were some people who said, "Oh, that's just derivative," and it's like, yeah, come on, it was funny. I mean, the one guy being compared to Woody Johnson with the Jets and Big Dom with the Eagles. Yes, you have to be a little bit of a fan to understand what are they talking about? Eagles and Big Dom? What? But I'm seeing lots of people around the NFL giving them huge props for that schedule release. My personal favorite, I did enjoy the Colts doing a Simpson episode because they made the Chargers get nods for they had little digs at Mike Vrabel and the Patriots, and I think somebody had a nice dig at I think a lot of people took shots at the Raiders for the botched Max Crosby trade, but with the Colts they did an own goal and pointed out how long it's been since they won a game in Jacksonville. And when they got to the point of the schedule release, they literally had Homer Simpson going back into the hedge at Jacksonville. And it's like, they haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. So it's like, I appreciate the humor there.
Yeah, I thought the Falcons was good. Falcons did one that was mimicking ESPN, This Is Sports Center deal, and I thought theirs was good. I saw that Colts did Simpsons. I haven't watched it yet. I thought the Browns was awful. I mean, they did some kind of something from a 70s video game or 80s, 90s video game, and I thought it was just, I couldn't watch it. I had to turn it off. It was so bad. All right, finally, before I let you go, the one thing I am surprised, the final game, home game, the final game at the stadium is the Steelers on January 3rd. And look, after, we saw what they did with Buffalo and closing, Highmark Stadium and all of that kind of stuff, and they made a big deal out of it. I'm shocked that the last game ever at what was the Adelphia Coliseum, that game isn't getting more love, that it is the Steelers. That could have been a primetime game. And two, I know that they went to this Oilers uniform and all of that, and there was no plans for an actual throwback. If they were going to do a throwback to the Super Bowl year uniform, that would be the game to do it, just like how the Bills wore a red helmet, for their final game at what was Rich Stadium.
Well, the one interesting thing is that they closed out their one season in Memphis against the Steelers. That was the game where there were so many Pittsburgh fans in the stands that Bud Adams said, we're not doing this again, and came to Vanderbilt. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they move forward into this. But, I mean, again, there is that flex option. Let's see how this season goes. If the Titans are giving people a reason to talk about them, if they're in the hunt, because that's going to be a game where they can recall Music City Miracle. I mean, there's so much history in that building. As anxious as people are to get into the new place, which is going to be gorgeous, Derrick Henry's 99-yard run, tying the NFL record, Chris Johnson and all that he did. I mean, there's just so many moments that I can't help but think that that's going to be a day and a week to remember the history of that building. So, a bit of a missed opportunity. I thought that might have been a great chance for a Saturday night game at the least. But, that's the thing. They wanted to set up Houston and the Titans for that next weekend. And, I'm seeing some early predictions. Texans are going to win 13 games this year. They've fixed their problem, the offensive line. Yeah. Well, let's just see what C.J. Stroud really can do. Did they really get him enough help on offense? So we know the defense is incredible, but this is the beauty of the NFL season. We actually get to see them play the games.
Yeah, well, that's the other unfortunate part is that it's Pittsburgh, and we know how they travel, and so I hate the thought that the final game at the stadium is going to be 30% black and gold or more. With those, especially if they're a playoff team and the Titans are not. I would have rather that been a divisional game. Even I know they saved those for the last week, but there's that as well. Although the Titans do have a good record against Pittsburgh at home. Last I remember, it was something like 7-2 or something like that, but it's a pretty good record at home against them. Teresa Walker has been our guest. T-Dub, I appreciate you making the effort to join us via video. Good job. Good to see your smiling face, and we'll look forward to chatting again.
Sounds great, Tom. Y'all have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you. All right, we'll grab a break. We will come back and wrap up hour number one of the show. Set you up for hour number two next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The Atlanta Braves, another 57 favorite with Spencer Strider on the mound against the Red Sox in Conley early today at Truist Park. The total is 8, shaded to the over. Alabama and Ole Miss meet in Tuscaloosa. The Rebels and the Crimson Tide, both minus 115 of the money line. UAB, a $2.50 underdog at UT San Antonio, while Auburn and Georgia meet in SEC play. Both teams are minus 115 on the money line in that matchup. Atlanta Falcons will open up the season on the road to the Pittsburgh Steelers on September the 13th as a 3-point underdog. Home opener a week later, Falcons laying 1.5 against Carolina. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Hey golfers, Huntsville has a new place to play golf. The newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue in Huntsville is The Golfus. For a limited time, you can grab an unlimited membership for just $99 a month. That's right, play every day for just $99 a month. Check it out. All the details are on thegolfus.com. That's The Golfus. 2 locations in Huntsville and coming soon to Madison.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Really going to be a great Friday. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight. A little more cloud cover for your Saturday, but we are going to be quite warm. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Plenty of sunshine for your Sunday, much the same. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by my good friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance. You know, I've known Mike for over 20 years, and no one knows the appliance business better than Mike. And he's always there to help support whatever we are doing on the show. And they've got all the major brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, Speed Queen, and more. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs, where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality prices, quality service. Owen Home Appliance. Now, welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. You know, there was another big reveal yesterday. Not only, John, the NFL schedule was revealed yesterday. The other big reveal was the World Cup halftime show announcement. You know, you would think that they would have kind of had that as a standalone thing and not gotten crushed by the NFL schedule reveal.
Darius Rucker?
No, the World Cup halftime show, the championship game on July 19th in New York at MetLife Stadium will feature, you ready for this? First of all, it's the first time in the 96-year history of the World Cup they've never had a halftime show. Leave it to America. Leave it to us, right? Say, well, look, wait a minute. Hey, you're going to come in, you're going to do it here. We're going to have a halftime show. And the halftime show has to fit into 15 minutes. They don't extend it. You know, like you do at the Super Bowl. It's like 15-minute halftime for the World Cup final. That's it. And you got to fit this show in 15 minutes. Okay? Are you ready for this lineup here?
Yeah.
Okay. Madonna.
Awful call.
She's like 67 years old. Madonna's older than me. Madonna? Is she still performing? I didn't even know she was still performing. Madonna.
So.
Yeah.
National treasure.
Shakira?
Brilliant.
Shakira? Do we know who she is?
Yes.
Is she
she's
still
the one
relevant?
she's the one with the wild hips. She's been a part of the World Cup a few times in the past. She sings the Waka Waka song.
The Waka Waka song. Yeah, sure. That's it.
She did the Super Bowl a few years ago as well. It was like 2014 or something.
Yeah.
2020, I guess.
And then something else called BTS from South Korea.
Yeah. The girls are going to love that one, especially a few of your little children, your grandchildren.
My granddaughters are going to like BTS.
Yeah.
So BTS, they haven't performed for the last 3 years because they've been doing military service in Korea. They've been in the military, and now they're getting back out there. So BTS, Shakira, and Madonna. There you go.
It's a wild
That's
lineup.
your halftime show. Yeah. All right. Coming up next, Adam Spencer of Saturday Down South joining us. We'll talk some college football with him right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care, no appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with their 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. UAH senior Katie Bracken would strike out 9 batters in a complete game shutout. Chargers offense would back her up as UAH opens up NCAA regional play with a 4-0 win over host West Florida. Chargers face West Alabama today at 1 p.m. College baseball, 18th ranked Alabama would score 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning, hold off a late rally from 16th ranked Ole Miss to grab a series opening 5-4 win. Game 2 of that series tonight, 6 p.m. First pitch on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 5th ranked Auburn held 4th-ranked Georgia's high-flying offense to just 2 runs, but the Bulldogs pitching just as good as they limit Auburn to just 4 hits. Georgia takes game 1 of that series 2-1. The Hartselle Tigers will play for a 6A state championship on the baseball diamond as they take 2 games from Hartselle in the 6A semifinals last night, 5-3, 8-4. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby.
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. Welcome in on Football Friday in the Doghouse. So glad that you have joined us as we wrap up a beautiful week weather-wise. Certainly football music throughout the show today because that's what we do on Football Friday, regardless of the topics. And we've been doing some football, obviously, talking about the schedule drop and now an opportunity to talk some college football with Adam Spencer of Saturday Down South. And Adam does a tremendous job with Saturday Down South, and he joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and on WZZN TV as we welcome in a new audience joining us now in Nashville on Nashville Sports Radio and in Murfreesboro, as well as our friends in Huntsville on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and in Winchester on ESPN Winchester. We'll get the phone lines going again for you in a little bit, but you can watch the show on WZZN TV on the YouTube or the Facebook or the X. Find it at my X feed at Thom Abraham Show. You can also use the text window, which is 732-982-7469. If you want to get your thoughts heard right there, you can do that as well. Adam joins us now. Adam, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tom, how are you?
I am fantastic. And I got to ask you, I don't know that I've ever heard of something where 91% of the people were against it, and yet people were still pushing it down our throats, which is the 24-team playoff. And, every poll that I've seen that's been done by any publication always seems to come back. We're only like 8 or 9% of the fans really want this. And yet, the muckety-mucks in college football, and especially in the other three conferences outside of the SEC, the AFCA, and so on, are pushing for this 24-team tournament that nobody really wants.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it in both major revenue sports, right? The NCAA tournament just expanded to 76. I don't know. I have not run into anybody who was asking for that either. So, I mean, it just these people that are in charge, they see the dollar signs and they can't help themselves. That's what it comes down to. They no, fans don't want it, but with the NCAA tournament, the first four, Tuesday, Wednesday, what else is going to be on? We're gonna have it on our TVs, and we just have to we as the consumer are the ones that have to change this by not watching, but we're gonna watch. So they know that, and so they're gonna sell it, and so it's just gonna be a shame if and when that leads to the elimination of the SEC championship game, which I think is steeped in tradition and is Georgia hasn't had the best playoff appearances the past 2 years, but they've won 2 SEC championships. That's something. I'd rather do that in a 12-team playoff than go into a 24-team playoff, win one game, and go out. That's just me. I think that a lot of coaches and fans would agree with that, but here we are.
Yeah, well, and the SEC is the only conference left that is made up of all contiguous states. It's still relatively regional. If you want to call, Texas the Southeast, it's not really the Southeast, but it's still the South. So it kind of works together, obviously. And the tradition of the SEC championship game, which was invented down here, is something I think that is very, very important. I think winning, I think it's the purest thing in college football because nobody votes you into the SEC championship game. You make it, based on the merits of your play. And so I think it is a real thing to be the SEC champion or to be the Big Ten champion, if that's the case as well. And we're taking away another, potentially many years. Those are great rivalry games as well. And that's what college football is all about. My concern is we go to 24, we kill the conference championship games. What's next? When do players not play in the Michigan-Ohio State game or the Iron Bowl or the Florida State game because they're resting their players like they do in the NFL for the grueling, potentially 5-game playoff? You know what I mean? It seems to be. And when do the players say, hey, give me more money? I'm not paid to play in this many games. Or when does a player not play in a game because I'm getting ready for the NFL draft? There's so many unintended consequences. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the solution that I have thought about, but it's not going to work because if you talk about reducing inventory of games, nobody's going to go for that until they have to. But what you would need to do is just eliminate a couple of non-conference games, get rid of Cupcake Week, make the regular season 10 games long, and then you can add a couple of postseason games. It just, to me, that would make sense. But they're not going to reduce revenue by 2 games without needing to. So what's going to need to happen is they're just going to push these elite athletes too hard. How many games can these guys play? We're already seeing it in the NBA playoffs where we have guys sitting out and getting hurt in game 6s and game 7s of these NBA series because the season's too long. We're going to have that in college football too. How long is it going to be before a star quarterback is down his top running back, his top 3 receivers, a couple of offensive linemen, and yet here we are in the playoff and they're trying to win a national championship with 5 games left of the 24-team playoff bracket. It's just these games are there's too many games and it's just going to lead to more injuries and less quality of these games. And yeah, I think you're right. Something else is going to get taken away, and it's just not going to be a recognizable sport if we keep going down this path.
Well, and let's be fair too. The TV ratings for the SEC championship game and the Big Ten championship game blew away the early playoff game ratings. It's just a fact, and so that's another thing. They say that we'll watch it. Sure, we'll watch it. but it's to me, it could be a temporary bubble, and then all of a sudden 3 years later we're going to be like, what the heck, man? Where is these big championship games that we wanted so badly, and so I think all of those. I just think it's short sighted. The question will be, how long can Greg Sankey hold this off? Because they need him. They can't do it without the SEC, and they need him. I wonder how long he'll continue to fight the good fight on this deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the question. I mean, he's there's a lot of things that he wants to get done, and like there's going to have to be some give and some take, and we'll see how the coaches, the AFCA, like you said, they proposed eliminating the conference championship game. So, I mean, that seems like a pretty big blow to like the holdouts, like Sankey and the fans and stuff. If the coaches want it gone, then it's probably going to be gone. So, I mean, we're heading down that path, and that's a sad thing. Because, like you said, like I would rather if let's say Georgia is the number 1 seed this year in the playoff, like I'd rather watch them play Texas or Alabama or whoever in the SEC championship game on that weekend rather than a first-round playoff game against like Houston or UNLV. No disrespect to those programs that would be in like that 12 area or whatever, but like or the 24 area whenever we get there. But like I'd rather see 2 elite SEC teams on that first weekend of December than 1 versus 24 or 8 versus 15 or whatever matchup in the playoff that's between non-traditional rivals.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Adam Spencer with us from Saturday Down South, SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, a number of years, I think almost 15 years now, maybe 16 years, Saturday Down South's been around, and I've been a big fan of it since the beginning with John Cooper. All right, so we'll move off of that for a moment here. You have an interesting take on both LSU and Auburn. Let's start with Auburn. Why is it that you feel Auburn goes over its projected win total, which I think is around 6.5?
Yeah, I think it's 7.5 right now, I believe, or maybe it's 7.5. Yeah, they have a pretty manageable schedule. Auburn, they should take care of business in their non-conference. That Baylor game, they're already heavy favorites. This could be a down year for. This could be the last year of the Dave Aranda tenure there. So they should win that. In Southern Miss, that's Southern Miss and Stanford. They should win those. So you're really talking about there's a stretch of they have at Tennessee, at Georgia versus LSU, and at Ole Miss. They have to win one of those games to go over. That's basically where we're at here. They get LSU at home. That could be one where, the wheels are falling off the first year of the Lane Kiffin experience. At Ole Miss, that'll be tough, but they don't have Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. running the offense anymore, so we'll see if that takes a step back. So, I think that they need to take care of business in the games that they're going to be favored in, but then they need to pull off one upset in that area, and we'll see if they can do that. I think that I like Alex Golish. I thought that was a good hire. I think that some of these USF guys that he's brought over, Byron Brown, some of these receivers, they've shown that they can win on the road in the SEC because they went into the swamp and did it last year. So, I think that they'll be a little bit better hitting the ground running than some of these other first-year head coaches. So I like them to go over.
Yeah, obviously at Tennessee, at Georgia, at Alabama, at Ole Miss, there'll be dogs in all of those games. Do you think that there'll be a favorite against Florida, Vandy, or LSU at home?
I think they'll be a favorite against Vanderbilt for sure. I think that it's going to be tougher than people realize to replace a guy like Diego Pavia, even though I do like I think Clark Lee has put together some solid infrastructure there so that they'll be competitive. I just don't think that they'll be able to. It'll take Jared Curtis a year to learn the ropes in the SEC, and you're catching them early, week 4. So I think that that's a plus for Vanderbilt before Curtis can really get his sea legs under him there. I think same thing with Florida, though, too. New era there, little less continuity. I mean, if Philo wins the starting quarterback job, he's got the inside track because he worked with Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech. But catching those two teams early, I think that they'll be favored in both because I do think that the continuity that Golish and Byron Brown have matters a little bit there.
And then on the LSU side of this thing, 8-4 is an under, 9-3 is an over.
I don't know that 8-4. I mean, they'll be grumbling, obviously, because that's what they do down there in Baton Rouge. So there's a lot of grumbling going on. It feels like 9-3 is the jump off point, but you got them under, and they've got some tough games at home. That Texas A&M game at home, is going to be tough. Obviously, they get Alabama at home. They get Texas at home. So those are some tough games in their own building. The game at Ole Miss, though, I don't know that Lane Kiffin can be on the field. Honestly, I don't know how you protect him. As bad as it was when he went to Tennessee, like 4 years later, after he left there. Remember how bad that was? And then when he went there as the head coach of Ole Miss, he was getting pelted with golf balls and things like that. I don't know how they protect him. This is so raw when he goes there on September 19th. I would not be shocked if he's not in the booth and having to coach that game from upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting. But yeah, I think the LSU season comes down to these first 3 weeks. They have to. I think it'll set the tone. They have to beat Clemson in the real Death Valley down there in Baton Rouge, and then they have to go into Ole Miss and win. I mean, if you win those two games and you start out 3-0, then I think that they'll hit the over. But I mean, those are two really tough games to hit the ground running with to start the season. And like you said, that atmosphere in Oxford is not going to be friendly to the LSU side. So it's going to be that's going to be intense. Like I think we could go ahead and pencil in game day to go to that one in week 3. But yeah, I mean that atmosphere is going to be electric. But if they go 3-0 to start the season, I think they'll get the over. I just think that they're going to trip up in one of those games and they'll hit the under.
Yeah, that game's already been announced as a 6:30 Central Time game, 7:30 Eastern. So it's going to get the ABC treatment. LSU at Ole Miss. That means though that when game day is there, and they will be there, I agree with you. That means there'll be plenty of time for them to have Lane Kiffin on set. And again, I don't know how you protect them, man. I don't know. Nick Saban's going to be sitting there. Lane Kiffin will come and sit down with them. And it's just going to be nuts. I mean, I really do believe it could be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to, bring some, maybe push the crowd a little further back than they normally would outside of throwing distance of golf balls and mustard and whatever else that, Tennessee fans showed the way. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's going to be one rowdy day in Oxford. And, the Oxford Police Department already tweeted a funny GIF of from The Office of a guy going, great, when they announced that it was going to be a night game. So yeah, they're already they can go ahead and budget some overtime for that day, I think.
All right, the other two teams of high interest in our neighborhood, of course, are Tennessee and Alabama. Let's start with Tennessee. Where are you at on the Vols, who looked like they had this great trajectory going? Then the Nico fiasco went down before the season last year, and I think they were cut a little bit of slack there. But Josh Heupel needing a big year, makes a move defensively with a coordinator. But just talk about Tennessee and what you think we're looking at there.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to the quarterback position. They tried to get a petition for Aguilar, and the one guy who didn't win his case. I guess you got Chambliss coming back, you got some other guys coming back, but Joey Aguilar is out. So I think that outside of the Texas game, which is in Neyland Stadium, so I mean that's good. But outside of that, I mean they have a pretty manageable first 6 weeks there before they host Alabama on the third Saturday of October. So I mean they avoid a lot of the big dogs. They get Texas, but they don't get Georgia, which is big. So they don't have Oklahoma, whose defense is going to be electric again this year. So they have a pretty manageable schedule. So I think they can. I think that this is a 8-win team, maybe, if assuming that they figure out the quarterback position. Because if they don't get that right, then it doesn't really matter. But there's potential there. They can navigate the schedule and pick up more wins than people think.
It feels like the Tide are a 5-0 team when Georgia shows up, and then they get that stretch, bang, bang, bang. Georgia at home, at Tennessee, Texas A&M at home, and that doesn't mention the fact that after the bye week they got to go to LSU, so it gets serious, at that point in time. But
a lot of chatter about the Tide, a lot of chatter about Kalen DeBoer and all these other things. And the guy won a playoff game last year. My goodness gracious almighty. It's amazing, how, they just feel that there's so many better options out there for the Tide, some of the fans. Having said that, though, what do you feel about this Tide team with that 4-game gauntlet when they hit that Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, LSU thing? It feels like even splitting those games makes them a 10-2 team, which is a playoff team again.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to say, splitting those two, going 2-2. I think that they could even go 3-1. Kalen DeBoer has had Kirby's number, and that's been pretty impressive to watch these past couple of years where Alabama has been able to pull off upset wins against Georgia. If Tennessee's quarterback situation isn't settled and if they're, still, if the Jim Knowles experiment on defense isn't quite up to par early, he's going to sort that defense out at some point. But if it's not by this point, then they could win that game. Getting Texas A&M in Tuscaloosa is big for them, and then we'll see where LSU's at. LSU could be pushing for a playoff spot of its own, or LSU could have lost that game to Clemson, could have lost that game at Ole Miss, and sort of maybe they're floundering a little bit by that point. They'll still get up for that game, but there's a lot there that a lot of variables there. We know Georgia's going to be solid. We know Texas A&M is going to be solid, but there's a lot of variables in those road games to Tennessee and LSU that I think that they could win both of those games if they get their offensive line figured out. That's even more important than the quarterback position in Tuscaloosa. Is they got to figure out how to move guys off the ball so that the running backs aren't getting contacted every time behind the line of scrimmage and then forced to fall forward for 2 yards. So that's what I'll be watching in Tuscaloosa is the offensive line.
And they have to be committed to doing it. It's got to be something where, the running game is cumulative, and you have to be committed to doing it over and over again. It's okay to have a couple of 2 and 3 yard gains because, as the game wears on and those big uglies are pounding on guys and those running backs are physical, the next thing you know, those become 6 or 7 yarders, and then the next thing you know, you snap one off. But you have to be committed to it, and that's been, the concern for a lot of Alabama fans is it seems like there isn't a stomach for doing that. And, that's kind of been a Ryan Grubb thing going even back to when he was that 1 year at Seattle. So I think that's the other part of the line in a running game is, you're going to have a nice shiny new toy with Keelan Russell. I get it. Everybody anticipates him being the quarterback, but it's okay for him to turn around and hand the ball to a running back, 18 to 20 times a game.
Yeah, and I think that you said Keelan Russell. I think that that's where they should go with the quarterback battle because he does add a little bit of a running dynamic to just make defenses have to defend something like that. Like Ty Simpson wasn't really a runner. Jalen Milroe the year before, and that was before Ryan Grubb was there, obviously, but he was more of a running threat at the quarterback position too. So to have Russell back there with all that athleticism and potential, I think that will open up the running lanes for guys like A.K. Deere, who I think is going to have a big year. Daniel Hill, they have the talent. It's just about the offensive line just got to be better. And losing Caden Proctor, he wasn't. I didn't think that he was as good as first round pick as high as he last year, but he's still going to be tough to replace.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I wouldn't be surprised if Caden Proctor isn't in the line of Alabama tackles that didn't pan out, that were first round picks. I hate to say it, Jardrick Wills, Alex Leatherwood, those kind of guys that everybody was real high on, and then they go to the league and don't pan out. I just didn't feel it as well with Caden Proctor. I never felt like he lived up to the hype, but we'll see what happens there. All right, man, good stuff. Adam Spencer has been our guest. Adam, I appreciate you joining us on the video feed of the show, and tremendous work by you guys at Saturday Down South, and we'll keep the conversation going.
Thanks for having me on, Tom. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. There you go, Adam Spencer. All right, so interviews are done. Phone lines are open the rest of the way. It's 256-576-4977. Somebody has finally broke out of the 3-under mix, and it is Smalley, who is now 4-under to lead at the PGA Championship. It was cold there this morning. Some of the guys that were at 3-under have backed up a little bit. Scotty Scheffler has backed up a little bit. Justin Thomas has backed up a little bit. I'll get you a scoreboard on that. But if you want to jump on board, you can jump on board next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The Atlanta Braves, another 57 favorite with Spencer Strider on the mound against the Red Sox in Conley early today at Truist Park. The total is 8, shaded to the over. Alabama and Ole Miss meet in Tuscaloosa. The Rebels and the Crimson Tide, both minus 115 of the money line. UAB, a $2.50 underdog at UT San Antonio, while Auburn and Georgia meet in SEC play. Both teams are minus 115 on the money line in that matchup. Atlanta Falcons will open up the season on the road to the Pittsburgh Steelers on September the 13th as a 3-point underdog. Home opener a week later, Falcons laying 1.5 against Carolina. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When you're craving a juicy, made-to-order burger with all your favorite toppings, it's time to head to Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Fresh, never-frozen, hand-formed patties, crispy, fresh-cut fries, savory hot dogs, and topped off with an ice-cold real milkshake. Five Guys knows what you like. Come and get it in Huntsville on North Parkway and on Enterprise, and in Madison on Moonshot Drive and Highway 72. Order online at fiveguys.com or just walk in. Five Guys. Perfection every time. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and this month at Lynn Layton Ford, we've got employee pricing for everyone. Plus 5.9 for up to 84 months with 0 doc fees or no hidden markups. That's right, employee pricing plus 5.9 for up to 84 months, no doc fees or hidden markups. With your good credit, lease a 26 F-150 STX for $399 a month for 36 months with only $3,000 due at signing. Lease a 26 Explorer Active for $399 a month for 36 months, $3,000 due at signing. Or how about a new Bronco Big Ben 4x4? $485 a month for a 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. We've got employee pricing for everyone, plus 5.9 for 84, and no doc fees or hidden markups. Come see us at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford Country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com. All leases are with a 0 security deposit, 10,500 miles a year. Offer ends 5/31/26. See us for the details.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Really going to be a great Friday. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight. A little more cloud cover for your Saturday, but we are going to be quite warm. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Plenty of sunshine for your Sunday, much the same. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show on a Football Friday. Glad you are in with us. Phone lines go open, 256-576-4977. Let me just spit one thing out. Because we've talked about doing the Friday Fishing Report, and we've missed a lot of Friday shows due to different things. I will not be missing next Friday, though, by the way. Originally, it looked like I was going to be off next Friday for a charity event, but that event is canceled, so I will not be missing that. Something very interesting is going on. It is the middle of May now, right? Today is what, May 15th? You can still find fish at Gunnersville on beds, and really all of the region, whether it's Tim's Ford, Woods Reservoir, Gunnersville, Wheeler, Old Hickory, any of these Priest, any of the bodies of water that are in our listening area, Center Hill, any of those bodies of water. It's very interesting. There are still fish on beds because we have had several cold nights, which have kept the water temperature from getting crazy. Earlier this week, there were water temperatures on Gunnersville in the 60s still. All right. So the fish are still on bed. So don't think that they're all offshore now. You can still find them shallow. What one of the things that you want to be thinking about is the bluegill beds. All right, so the bluegill are spawning, and the bass get all excited when the bluegill are spawning, and they'll feed on them. And there's an early morning shad spawn. That shad spawn goes away about 9 o'clock in the morning. But if you get out there at the crack of dawn, you'll see all that bait flicking around on the top of the water. That's the shad spawn that's going on. That calls it that kind of is a siren call for the bass. They come in. Bass are stupid during the shad spawn. I mean, they go nuts. So you can get after them with top water. You can get after them with frogs. All kinds of different any kind of top water that you want to throw. And then, of course, always with a swim jig or with a regular jig, a structure type jig. That type of stuff will work as well. So they are still in shallow. They're in the grass. You can find them if you're somebody that wants to target them shallow. Some fish have already moved off. I get that. They're some almost out to the ledge. But the biggest tip you need right now is that fish are still spawning, which is unusual this late in the year. All right, let's get to the lines. We start with LSU Lynch. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well. Let's make it a Fallout Friday. Let's talk. Look here. Number one, any of you jackasses that want college football to go to 24, you just kill yourself. That's crazy.
Wow.
Doesn't make any sense. Just get and just like the damn NCAA. Why do we need 76 games? Why?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's more than 76 games, 76 teams, especially now in both the college football and college basketball when the field is shrinking because of NIL and transfer rule, mostly because of transfer rule. So now there's no Cinderella anymore. There's never Cinderella in football, but there's definitely no Cinderella in basketball anymore either because the mid-majors are now the feeder system for the Power Four. And in college football, it's the same thing. I mean, they're just gone. I mean, those guys at Marshall or wherever it is that they are, those guys leave immediately. If they have any kind of success, they're gone the next year. Nobody has to stay if they want to keep playing because they don't want to sit out or any of that. So the field is getting small. The gap is getting wider and wider. The gap isn't shrinking. The gap is getting wider and wider.
Well, look here, man. With the NIL, that's name, image, and likeness. Okay, well, it's also college money, not just that. But look here. My thing is you make them start signing the 2-year contracts. You cannot leave, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can't leave. With the money. Then, on top of that, you're going to play in the bowl game. Screw the NFL draft. You're under my contract. Why is that not happening?
Well, because they don't have a CBA. That's what they need, a union to negotiate with. Because here's the other thing. If you tell a guy that, look, you signed with Middle Tennessee, you're at MTSU, and you're getting $300,000 to play for MTSU, and you go and you have this kind of a huge record, and all of a sudden Alabama wants to pay you $2 million or $1.5 million to go to Alabama, how do you stop that guy? Now, you stop him the same way you stop the free agent in the NFL that signed a 3-year free agent contract, and he's committed to that contract. Even if he had a great year, he's committed to that contract. But the only way we're going to get anything that looks like a contract with a player that says you're playing all the way through the season and so on is with a CBA. You got to have a union. You got to have a CBA. That's the only way you can do it.
But, all of us, we're sick and tired of these low-tier bowl games. I mean, enough is enough. And then what? The first 8 teams get a bye week. There's been some issues with that. When it comes
but at
to
least
those
the bowl
games,
games, at least the lower-tier bowl games pit teams that should be competitive with each other. What's going to happen now is, you'll have these 8-bye teams, and then you'll have these other 12 games being played, and they're going to be likely all 10, 12, 15-point spreads in those games. It's going to be very difficult other than the 8-9 game or whatever it might be. But most of these games are going to be, and we're not going to have a great, LSU, Tennessee, SEC championship game because we have to have, BYU playing Georgia in the first round of the playoffs. It's ridiculous.
Speaking of East Auburn over there, they whooped our happy ass in baseball. And then, I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know if they drinking too much. They still thinking Mardi Gras going on down there in the dugout. But look here, I'm going to end this with this. You talk about high tech. Now, look, I'm going to say this. Your show, I don't like it from 10 to 12. It was better 12 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back. You look at how your show has evolved, big dog. You just go back to 3 years ago. It was very basic. You had a sheetrock wall, and everybody was having a good time. And to me, if we're watching you live, it was a lot more interaction. We was all talking smack. That don't happen anymore because you done got too big for your britches, Yankee. You got to look here. We used to be able. You got to cut your damn show off at 3 minutes till every day. Why? Sponsors?
Yeah.
You
got bills to pay.
We used to call the show and talk to.
It's always ended at 55.6. It's always ended at 55.50. The show is the hour. Well, I know it used to end at 57, maybe. So, John, when's the music fired?
Yeah, like 56.
You could get 3 callers in. You could get
56.
3 callers in those 3 minutes.
We end at 56. What can I say? We have a top of the hour break. I mean, we have commercials. We have people want
to. You got a bunch of breaks. You start late.
I started 1 minute after the hour.
Yeah, you used to start at 12. See, I'm busting your balls because you're a Yankee. That's why I can do it. Go LSU!
I appreciate it. We start at 01. We take the same 3 5-minute breaks an hour, or whatever it is, 2 5-minute breaks, and then the top of the hour break. I mean, it's just the, it's just the way the show is. And this past fall, when did we go back to 10 to noon? We were at 10 to noon all fall long, weren't we? This past fall, we probably took more phone calls than ever. Grumpy is up next. I don't know. He probably has an opinion on when the show airs too, but it is. Opinions are like something else. Everybody's got one. Grumpy, what's going on?
Yeehaw! I guess I'm a jackass and needs to go kill myself, man, because
you want it.
Oh, hell, I do. I've been talking about this for years. I like to call your show and tell you when you're wrong, and I call often, but I've been calling it saying expand this thing for a long time. I've been doing this for years.
But did you mean expand to 12 or 16, or did you mean 24? Nobody's ever meant 24.
20. Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes. Let me ask you this. Where are these polls? I think your problem is with the polls. Where are these polls being polled? They're not doing it in person.
National.
They're not getting out and doing it. They're putting it on select sites where large universities who've had great success are answering the questions. If you go to every athletic director and give him everyone in the country, and you give him 100 pieces of paper with the poll on it, poll questions, you'll get a totally different result. When kids,
the ADs want it. I'm talking about fans. The fans want the ADs want it because it's job security.
Okay, look, man. What I meant by that is handing out the papers to the fans. I say that you just called it ridiculous. I think what you're really saying is it's beneath you.
No, it's not beneath me. I think we're gonna,
brother.
So we're gonna lose the conference championship games to have first round playoff games.
Hey, listen, man. Don't. We're not going back to Adam and Eve here, man. I mean, I graduated college, and there had never been an SEC championship game.
Yeah, it was one of the great
inventions.
92. Don't you think it was one of the greatest things?
SEC championship game. We don't need it.
It's been 27 years. It was one of the greatest.
God.
Look at the numbers. There's more people that watch the Big Ten and SEC championship game than watch the playoff games until you get to the semifinal.
Money, right? Numbers are about money, right?
Why would you want to give that up?
No, why would you want to hold back the gates of all the money that's going to come in with 24 teams? If there's your poll right there. Are you going to make more money with 24 teams or less money with 24 teams? More. That's the only poll you need.
It might be spread around more, but it's not going to be more. I don't think it'll be more because right now the SEC and Big Ten championship games combined, they're around $300 million. Now they're trying to tell Greg Sankey that this extra round of playoffs will be worth $300 million and it will replace it. But I don't think so. And the point is this: money or fans? I don't think the fans want it. I mean, look, On three did a poll, and The Athletic did a poll, and the fans responded to the poll as to what number they thought would be the right number for the playoffs. The vast majority were 12 or 16, and only 9% said 24 was the right number. Thousands of fans answering a poll.
Thousands of fans. Okay, what I'm saying
thousands.
Is the team, the people that are voting for 12 or 14 are the kids that are going to the schools that make it when there's 12 or 14. Go ask the hundreds of thousands of students that are in the schools that don't make it every year. Go ask them what they think. Huh?
I mean, it's not a closed vote. They have a chance to vote too. I mean, those are probably the 9%.
That goes back to what I said a minute ago. Where are these polls being conducted? Where
online.
You do it on the? Hold on, no. Where you do it online matters. That's the same as standing at a block on a street somewhere. You know, they're doing this at places that are frequented by people who follow Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee.
When the Athletic
Ohio
puts
State.
a poll online, it's a poll for everybody, all fans.
No, I disagree. No,
they don't send a poll and say, "Hey, you can't vote in this poll if you're a fan of the MAC, you can't vote."
They weren't asked the question. You have to ask the question of the people that are viewing it. They're the only ones that see the question. If you go across the country and you ask every student at every school what they think, I think you'd be surprised. It would vastly be in favor of 24 teams. Vastly. But we're sitting here in a bubble listening to an Alabama radio station. Tennessee's had success. Auburn's had success. Everyone listening to this show that bothers to call in is going to hate this idea because we're used to making it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't need to have a bunch of also-rans in the thing. That's going to just,
we disagree on this, but
we can agree to disagree.
Well, yeah, but when I looked up at the screen a minute ago, you and your guest, I was like, these guys are so far off base on this. It's ridiculous. And then I realized you're both wearing smartwatches. That told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, that must be it.
All right, man. Later.
All right, Brent. Appreciate you. That must be it. Let's see what this one says. A recent poll done of, this was from Yahoo Sports. This is another one now. This isn't the two that I've been quoting. A recent poll was done of 3,600 college football fans, and 91% did not want a 21 or a 24 team playoff. All right. That's the Yahoo Sports poll. Now, it's put up on the line, online, and people can vote. Now, listen, who's less likely to use an online poll? Older people, right? Do you think the older people want this? I mean, we need to ask Harry. Harry, what do you think? Colonel Harry. He's the oldest guy we got, I think, right now. It's either him or Dan. I don't know. I think the older generation would be even more against it. Who's more apt to vote on a poll on Twitter? A 25-year-old, a 35-year-old, a 45-year-old, or a 65-year-old? It's the younger people. And the young people are saying, we don't want this. 3,600 respondents is a lot of respondents for a poll, something like that. All right. You agree with me? Do you disagree with me? You can get into that if you'd like. Also, the NFL schedules came out, and the Tennessee Titans are the only team that for 2 years in a row now do not get a primetime game. Now, they could end up with a primetime game. Could happen. You know, because there's flexage now for both Monday night and for Sunday night games. You don't get flexed into a Thursday, but you can get flexed into them. You're not going to get flexed into Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that. You can get flexed into one of those games, but right now they don't have a game. They don't have a game. And the NFL just keeps expanding its holiday games. It started with one game on Thanksgiving, Packers and Lions. Became 2 games on Thanksgiving. They added a game in Dallas. Okay? And then there was a college game at night. Now we get a triple header on Thanksgiving. And it is a phenomenal triple header, but we get a triple header on Thanksgiving. The NBA used to own Christmas Day. And then the NFL said, we're going to play on Christmas Day. We'll throw a game in there. And that blew away the NBA. And so the NFL said, we'll do a triple header on Christmas Day. And so now there's a triple header on Christmas Day. And then the NFL said, well, how about Thanksgiving Eve and Christmas Eve? We'll have games there. And so now we got NFL games there as well. Next is going to be New Year's Day. I'm telling you, right now they'll play on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve if it falls on Sunday or Monday with the Monday night game. But the time is going to come. They've played on every day except for a Saturday or a Tuesday, I should say. They played on every day except for a Tuesday. So what's going to happen next is we're going to get the NFL on a Tuesday when New Year's Day is on a Tuesday. I think that's coming at some point in time down the road. This Higgo guy who missed his tee time yesterday by 1 minute and got hit with a 2-stroke penalty was standing at the tee 10 minutes before his tee time today, and he just teed off. He's 1 under par. He would be tied for the lead right now. It's back to 3 under. He would be tied for the lead right now if he didn't have the 2-stroke penalty. And he kind of acted like, oh, I understand it. And then he kept going back to, it seems severe for missing by a minute. And then everybody who was interviewing him was trying to make a big deal out of the fact that how brave he was, that he was able to, continue on and shoot a good round, even though he started out 2 over par before he hit his first shot. He got it to 1 under. Look, if your tee time is 7:18 or 8:18 or whatever your tee time is, that you need to be there like 5 minutes before. There's 10 minutes in between. There's just no reason for it. There's no reason for it. Hideki Matsuyama is at 3 under along with Alex Smalley, who was through 11 so far today. Hideki Matsuyama is done today. Pot Geithner, Aldrich Pot Geithner, who we don't even know who he is. He's tied with them at 3 under as well, just getting his round started. Steven Yeager hasn't started yet. He's 3 under. Mi Woo Lee, 3 under. Patrick Reed, 3 under. Now, some of the guys that were 3 under before have backed up a little bit. Scotty Scheffler is 2 over for the day today. He's now 1 under, so he's still right there. Justin Thomas is even for the day. He had it to 3 under yesterday and backed up to 1 under, and he's still 1 under through 13. Brooks Koepka's at 1 under. Spieth is at 1 under. John Rahm is at 100. All of those guys go off a little bit later on. So that's your update there. All right. Between now and when we come back, you want to go to the South Carolina Vanderbilt baseball game tomorrow at Vandy. 1 o'clock game. I got 2 tickets, South Carolina and Vandy. All you got to do is call the show, 256-576-4977, and come on the air and tell me you want to go to an SEC baseball game. 256-576-4977. It's South Carolina at Vandy. Vandy won game 1 of the series 9-1. I got 2 tickets for you courtesy of ESPN Winchester. If you want them, you got them. Next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188, and you can email me at Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the docs at TOC. You know, I'm always talking about these people that I've known and trusted in the Tennessee Valley for over 20 years. Well, my buddy Thom Perkins and the docs at TOC certainly fit that description. And when my own family has needed an orthopedic specialist, TOC was the only call to make. There is a reason why almost all the schools in the region use TOC, because they are trusted and they provide the kind of care people need. TOC is the orthopedic center. It's right there in the name, and they're right there when you need them. Now, welcome back, Tom Abraham Show.